Hello YouTube and welcome to another video. It's the Media Preacher here with another review of a movie that I felt after seeing it I really have to review, because it's a film that when it came out it was pretty much, I thought anyway, universally slammed by everybody that saw it as being a real rotten tomato, or tomato if you live in America. And I saw it in a shop in England for a very, very low price a few weeks ago, and my wife said, well, I'll buy it for you. So I said, oh, I actually would really like to see it. So she bought it for me. I didn't watch it right away because I didn't think it was going to be very good. And then I did watch it, and I have to say I was really, really surprised at how much I enjoyed this particular film. So just to let you know what the film is, it's a film by Ridley Scott called The Counsellor, and in the film you've got Michael Fassbender, who plays the Counsellor. You've got Penelope Cruz, Cameron Diaz, Javier Bardem, who is a fantastic character actor and who most of you probably know from No Country for Old Men and the James Bond film Spectre, and also Brad Pitt. Now, I was a bit dubious because I thought, well, you know, Brad Pitt, I'm not sure how much I like Brad Pitt as an actor, and Cameron Diaz, I'm not sure how much I really like her as an actor either, but this film I thought was really, really good, because I'd seen all these reviews about how long and meandering it was and how it didn't tell a particularly interesting plot that was particularly easy to follow, and I followed it no problem. The Blu Ray disc actually comes with two editions of the movie. You get the original theatrical cut and you get the extended edition, and I watched the extended edition, so I don't know if the theatrical edition is perhaps harder to follow, but I didn't struggle to follow this film at all. To give you a brief synopsis about what the film is about, Michael Fassbender even essentially is the counsellor. He's a lawyer who gets involved in a drug deal with Javier Bardem. That drug deal goes wrong, and everybody involved in the drug deal starts being murdered and assassinated, essentially, by the higher level drug dealers in Colombia. And the film really follows Michael Fassbender's performance, because it's told through his eyes, and what you see at the start of the film essentially is the lawyer who's getting involved in the drug deal, and then you see things start to fall apart where various characters get murdered in really hideous, horrible and really ingenious ways. You know it's not real, so it was fun to watch. And certainly when Brad Pitt dies, let's just say he loses his head. I won't say any more, but it's certainly not the mess of a film I was expecting it to be. And of course it's directed by Ridley Scott, who's directed some real classics and masterpieces over the years, everything from sci-fi like Blade Runner and Alien, through to films that perhaps weren't as good, like Exodus, Gods and Kings from last year, which I didn't think was very good at all. But I thought this was much, much better than that. The performances, I think, are all fantastic performances. I know I was watching, I think, Chris Stuckman, who's a very popular YouTuber who does a movie review channel. He doesn't really need my shout out, but he reviewed this movie and absolutely thought it was terrible. He went to see it in the cinema when it opened at 12 o'clock midnight, and he said he was almost sitting there with his feet up just trying to get to the end of it. Which I was really surprised to hear, because I wasn't bored at all by this film. I thought it was really good, and I thought the performances were all really good, and he thought the performances were all slightly off the mark. So I wanted to come and try and defend this film to some degree, and perhaps ask people to revisit it, or at least to give it a chance. It could be perception, because I've been thinking about this. It might be perception. It might be the fact that I thought this film wasn't going to be very good. So I went into it with that expectation, and then when I watched it, I actually really enjoyed it. Whereas perhaps some of the people that saw this movie when it first came out, Chris, for instance, he probably went into it thinking this is going to be an absolute masterpiece, and it's not a masterpiece. Perhaps he was thinking it was going to be like, you know, sort of an Alien or an American Gangster, or something like Pulp Fiction, maybe, something that really is fantastic. And of course it's not in that league, but it's certainly not as bad as everybody says it is. And if you see it in bargain bins, I absolutely would pick it up and give it a spin, because ultimately you can always trade it second hand if you don't like it. Sorry, something happened over there. You can always trade it second hand if you don't like it, and just get rid of it. Or just go to the like Blockbusters, or doesn't know that's not available anymore. Or just go to you know, sort of like the Sky Store or Netflix if it's on there, and give it a go, because it's a good film. It's worth watching, and it's essentially it's a crime thriller about drug dealers, and it's great. I mean, the version I watched actually was well over 2 hours, and I felt like I was watching a film that was an hour and a half, which is always a good telltale sign that you've enjoyed a film. But no, The Counsellor, great cast, great director, not a perfect film by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece. I'm just saying that it's a film that if you do get an opportunity to watch it, it's not a bad film to watch at all. So anyway, that's me, the Media Preacher, signing out, and please subscribe.